What's up, everybody? Mdog5. Today we're gonna react into some other Bakugan videos. You feel me? Some other opinionated Bakugan videos. I thought it'd be cool because I just released the biggest one on the platform. So gotta spread the love to the community. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta react to some others that other people trying to do the same thing. And yeah, I'll give my thoughts on each video today. We're looking at Bakugan Battle Brawlers top 10 characters, so let's get into this bitch.
Their own video. And I'm only counting the first season. So if some characters like Dan, Shun, and Marucho showed up in multiple seasons, I'm only qualifying what they did in Battle Brawlers, not New Vestroya or Gundalian Invaders.
Makes sense.
The main reason for this is because I want to look at the characters and see how they're treated in each specific part of the story, so I'm not just repeating the same thing every time, and so some characters just won't be in the same spot each time I cover
Okay.
So basically, Dan and New Vestroya and Dan and Mactanium Surge are going to be considered two different characters.
because they are two different characters. Nigga, Dan in MS was a piece of work, my nigga. That nigga needed to get decked in the jaw, nigga. He was a piece of work.
I know this seems weird, but this is my list. And because this is my list, a lot of our opinions probably aren't going to match up. But feel free to let me know your top 10 characters in the comments down below. Without further ado, let's get started. This is a character I don't really see a lot of people talking about, but number 10 is Webmaster Joe. He was introduced as the one who created the Bakugan website.
Joe is valid.
Because of that, the Brawlers had the suspicion that he was leaking the information to Masquerade, since he always knew where they were. But in reality, he was just a sick kid in the hospital who just really loves the game. They could have had Joe show up in just one episode, and I honestly would have been fine. But then they officially gave him his partner, Wavern, and these two hit it off immediately. Honestly, don't really know what else to say, besides the fact
because that nigga literally was not in any other episode, any other season in the entire show, my nigga. Season 1 ended, that nigga was gone. That nigga also ended.
Really good guy. This is going to be the oddest choice on the entire list. But number 8 is my boy Christopher.
Your boy Christopher? Oh man, nah. Christopher needs to pedal his ass off this list. Christopher, what the fuck?
I promise it's gonna all start making sense soon.
No, it's not.
I know what some of you are thinking. Who in the Doom Dimension is Christopher? My
Christopher's
boy
a bitch.
In 24, and I'll be honest, it's probably my favorite episode of the entire
bro.
Christopher was being bullied.
That was my least favorite episode.
So much, to the point where he was ready to throw his Bakugan in the river and quit altogether. Luckily, Alice stops him and offers to give him some pointers to get better at the
game. That makes Alice a good character.
The most adorable master-student relationship in the entire show. After this, he stands up to his bully and then defeats him. And honestly, none of that...
But he was whining like a bitch the whole time. Alice! Shut the fuck up, bro. Come on. You know that nigga was annoying. And then they had him come back in like one of the last episodes, and you just hear this... You see this short-ass nigga, high-ass voice battling with like Alice and Alpha Hydronoid and Klaus and Cyranoid. I'm like, you do not belong here. Like, what is going on?
Really guarantees him a spot on the list, let alone being this high. But for me, the final thing that put him on the list was when he came back later around the end of the show in the final arc. Naga and his forces were terrorizing the city, and there he is, fighting alongside Alice and Klaus, two of the most powerful characters in the entire first season. And he's fighting alongside of them as equals. Watching Christopher grow into such a powerful battler was just something that I love to watch.
Nah, get his ass off this list, bro. Get his ass off this list.
This is definitely a weird spot for me to put the little guy, but hear me out. I like Marucho a lot. Originally, he was a lot higher in the list, but when I rewatched the season, I realized that I liked a lot of the other characters just a little bit more. In the beginning of the...
I mean, Marucho is valid, too. That nigga sheds, a few more tears than necessary, but Marucho's funny.
Show, he's honestly just the stereotypical smart kid in the group, but during the episode when
he's also horny, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
His personality is finally starting to
he's
show
horny.
Off. For example, he has a really big interest in the ladies. Also, his fights were never boring because he had a unique fighting style. His Bakugan Preyas could change attributes, which led to some pretty unique fights from time to time. I definitely understand if you don't like where I place Marucho, but in my personal opinion, I think the later seasons showed off his character a lot more than the original show did.
Yeah.
Julie is honestly the only female character in the entire cast who has showed up in multiple seasons and was given the respect she deserves, even when she wasn't battling. Now, granted, it wasn't like this during all of the seasons, and that didn't influence
she was in all 4 of the seasons. She was the only female character female protagonist in all 4 of the seasons. Actually, yeah, she was the only female character in all 4 of the seasons. But I mean, you had like Mira, who was in multiple seasons. Like there are other female characters who are in like multiple seasons and shit. Like really, there are only 4 consistent characters in the entire series, which was Dan, Drago, Marucho, and Shun. Those were the only 4 consistent characters. And I don't know why they did that, but it was whatever.
Spot on the list, but I just wanted to give her some extra points just in case people think she should be higher, because I really do like Julie, and I think she was one of the best female characters we've gotten. She honestly has some of my favorite battles throughout the entire franchise, and she has the best written episode out of all of the battle brawlers.
I don't think so. I wouldn't say best written. I feel like that test was retarded, but
we're stuck in the Doom Dimension for that one arc. Her relationship with her sister Julie was really moving, and it also explains quite a bit about Julie's personality when you dive deep into her character. As bubbly as she is, she felt pretty insecure about herself.
I already said in that documentary why it didn't even make sense as to why she was insecure in that moment, or like how that experience would make her insecure or whatever, and it was inconsistent with the rest of her personality too. I was like, what the fuck, bro?
Compared to her sister, and I honestly think anyone can get behind that. However, even though she does have some of my favorite episodes in the first season, she also has some of the worst. Her relationship with Billy was really interesting when it was originally brought up.
It's toxic.
Watching these 2 characters have the same fight over and over got very tiring at one point. And I'm normally not the type of person who would be so hung up about the idea that Julie's character kind of revolves around Billy for a decent portion of the show.
Billy's character revolves around
that
Julie.
Billy isn't really that interesting himself. Her final focus episode was, you guessed it, about her and Billy at one point. I just didn't really care. Though I will admit, if I knew that little girl was going to show up in the halfway point...
I'm not going to lie, I would put Billy as a top 10 character because he has a W personality.
I would have kept my mouth shut and just took what I had. I just want to reiterate, I adore Julie's character. I just think Billy holds her back. Luckily, we have that one episode with Daisy to make me forget about him. At number 6, we have a tie between Klaus and Chandler.
Daisy. Billy is a valid character because you see his growth. You know what I'm saying? Like he was the most complex out of any of the 5. I call them the alternative brawlers. Like who worked under Masquerade. He was definitely a better character than Chan. Maybe not Klaus, but better than Komba's dick riding ass. And Julio was like, he was just there. You know what I'm saying? He was like this big buff angry nigga. So like Billy was valid. You feel me?
Because they're both here for the exact same reason. Let's go ahead and talk about Chan first. Growing up, I didn't really think much of Chan, but looking back, she was pretty great. She never won a single battle on screen, but that was because she was fighting the most powerful characters in the entire show every single time. She brought a certain level of intensity that set a standard for a lot of the female villains going forward, and even after she stopped working for Masquerade, she wasn't just taking up screen time.
She did some valid shit.
Unlike certain other characters throughout the series. She's also the final person who 1v1 Naga right before Drago, so there's a little extra.
Yeah, she was valid.
Similar to Chan, Klaus brought a very serious vibe to every single battle he was.
Klaus is a demon.
He was the second best in the entire world.
If you know, you know.
But like
Klaus
his
is a
teammate,
demon.
I didn't really think much of him growing up. The big thing that put him on this list was his battle against Alice. Not the battle itself, but because he tried.
No, Klaus is a demon. You know what I'm saying? Not only does he have like morals, but this nigga speaks in like eloquence. You know what I mean? Like he has personality. He has charm too, and he's a ladies man. Nigga, you know what I'm saying? He gets the powers, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Tried to help.
Klaus is definitely top 10.
And how supportive he was.
He's not tied with Chan though. Just because Chan like was willing to help out in the fight with Naga and shit. Like that's literally the only other redeeming quality Chan has. Is like, okay, she worked on the Masquerade, she quit, whatever, and then like she was valid because she was there, you know, to help stop Naga. That was it. But they all were, you know what I'm saying? They all did that, but whatever. She would not be in my top 10.
Number 5 is Miyoko.
Kuso.
Dan's mom. Miyoko was on this list because of the second half of the show.
Yes, sir, bro. Dan is a crazy son, bro. Never treat your mom how Dan treats Miyoko Kuso. That's all I'm saying.
Mom she was. In the first couple of episodes, we see her either nagging Dan to do his chores, or she's doing
Dan bad as hell.
in the living room. Sometimes she's doing both. Everything for her really kicks off in episode 27. Miyoko is a bit flustered because she actually forgot it was her birthday. On top of that, her son actually bought her a gift this time. Dan then tells her that he'll
shocked.
call her later before leaving, but
Shocked.
he never does. At first,
See?
she brushes it off, because at this point in the show he's left on long trips before, but it eventually sinks in that her son is in fact missing.
Dan is
like
an
any
asshole.
mother should, she was worried and tried to find him desperately, but the only real lead she had was Bakugan, the game he's always playing. She asked Runo if she knew where he went, but Runo just cries and runs away. She then later gets a call from Runo, promising her that she'll find her son, and Miyako's able to find out where Runo is, just based off of the background of the little video call.
Okay, but like,
after the brawlers
call the
complete their
Japanese
tests
police
and
or
they're
some
all
shit.
able to go home, Dan is finally reunited with his mother, and we also get the reveal that she had a feeling Bakugan was more than just a game the entire time, because she often saw him talking to his
Like,
back.
what the fuck? Like, I don't understand. If you see cards flying down this... I was thinking about that shit today, my nigga. Like, I was having shower thoughts. I was like, these niggas really didn't think that cards flying out of the sky was weird. Like everywhere around the world, if cards fell out of the sky in every location on Earth, like it was rain, wouldn't that be a little odd? Wouldn't that be like on the news? But yet, like, adults did not know that what Bakugan was. Like, I can't, my nigga.
Bakugan. This is all really good stuff, but the last thing that put her this far up on the list is the fact that after these episodes were finished, she actually had something to do with the plot afterwards. She has a hand in helping Joe contact all of the other kids around the world who are playing Bakugan to try to help them stand up against Naga. And overall, I think it's just another example about how well the female characters were treated in the original season. At number 4, we have Dan the man himself. There's so much to say about...
that's a good spot for Dan. You know what I'm saying? I want to put him like all the way up there, but you know, you can't. He's obviously like top 5, top 3.
This character,
top 5.
It almost feels like I don't need to say anything at all. Dan Kuso is so iconic to
Like,
the
it has
Bakugan brand that
all
when
the
they
personality.
made the reboot, they brought him over to the reboot.
Hey, my nigga, bro, don't. Oh. Look at that shit, boy. That shit disgusting. That's disgraceful, nigga. Look at that.
But we're obviously not talking about that today. Dan went through
Fuck
so
the
much
reboot.
character development in the first season alone. It's kind of insane.
character
He started
development?
off as this bratty kid that wanted to show off how cool his Bakugan was
Fucking-
because it could talk unlike everyone else.
Got
and then
that
he
personality,
evolves into
nigga.
a genuine hero. At
That
the end
nigga's
of
a
the
real
day.
nigga
He
on
also
the field.
learns what it means to be a leader on a team, and he has to face the consequences of the mistakes that he makes, while also showing compassion to those who were once his enemy, like Masquerade, for example. If he defeated Masquerade in the second episode and
Fuck is
found out
talking.
he was Alice, I'm positive he would have handled that situation completely different. There was a reason Alice was scared to tell him at first. And obviously there's more I could say, but like, come on guys, it's Dan Kuso. If you're here, I'm pretty sure you must like him in some regard. Yeah, he's not.
You
a
can't
number
watch
one,
Bakugan
but
and
it's
not
just,
like
I
Dan.
love these other characters that much more. We're now at the top 3, and I honestly think these...
Okay, he's not talking about Bakugan. So top 3 is gonna be Shun, Masquerade, and there's no way Hal G is on that bitch. There's no way. I would put him up there because he's like the most competent villain in this series. Like, he actually got his shit done. He did everything he was supposed to do. So I would put him up there, but I doubt that he's gonna put Hal G up there. But definitely Shun, Masquerade. We're just looking for that last. It's probably gonna be like some person who showed up once in one fucking episode.
next characters could honestly go in any order depending on the person you asked. But for number 3, we have
Alice. Yeah, of course, Alice.
probably has the most unique
Same thing as Masquerade or whatever.
character arc in the entire show. There are some characters who have quite a few similarities to her, but what separates Alice from, like, Mira is how the show handles her guilt. The guilt of her grandfather being Algae and pretty much being responsible for everything. The guilt of her being Masquerade, who was essentially the main villain of the first half of the entire first season.
It was the main villain.
Also,
This
how
wasn't
it
the overarching
addressed and
villain.
handled her guilt.
That
Because
nigga-
at the end of the day, we all know
Masquerade
this
was
isn't
tough.
Alice's fault. She didn't ask for any of this.
Masquerade's my
She's
nigga.
probably the nicest person you'll ever meet, but the fact
True.
that she has this dark side to her just made her a whole lot more interesting. And when she finally got over all of her issues, she was able to stand as a proud member of the team, and the 2 battles she had were some of the best in the entire season. Though battles aren't everything, that is probably the one thing that is stopping her from being number 1.
She's a whole Bakugan coach, though.
See more of her brawler side. But when they finally went into this part of her character, the show was practically over. So I guess that is just one nitpick. Taking the number 2 spot is my girl Bruno. Bruno is the only female character that never felt like she was anything but Dan's equal. In the first season, at least. All of the other female leads
Bruno would have been
looked
put
up
down
to Dan for guidance.
If I made this list, I would replace Julie with Bruno and put her down.
Because they're amateurs at the
and not
game
include
compared
Julie.
to him. He has a lot more experience compared to Mira, Fabia, and I think her name was Paige. But Bruno just had this certain level of independence to her in the original season.
Yeah,
and it just
her
really made her
Dan
stand out compared to the other female leads.
Yeah, that's true.
And like Dan, she had many character flaws, and the show took its time to address those flaws so she could grow as a person. It doesn't really affect the list.
Like Bruno, in summary, is like someone like if she was a real person in real life, then like you would not want to like get her upset or angry or whatever, or get on her bad side type shit. You know what I'm saying? But like I feel like the interactions between her and Dan were like forced. You know what I'm saying? And then I don't know. She just kind of gives me like bipolar vibes. I don't know. So I would put her low because she has like that energy to be a good character, but like, you know, and in season 2, I know this is strictly up season 1, but in season 2 she was tripping, my nigga. In the first half of season 2, I was like, thank God this bitch did not like get to brawl or anything, because I would not have enjoyed that. Like with a dimension controller, if you know what I'm talking about, then you know, my nigga, that she was being aggy as fuck.
But if you see how she is treated in Battle Brawlers and then go to New Vestroya, it's night and day, because New Vestroya just threw that out the window. Before we move on, I just want to say that I don't think New Vestroya and Gundalian Invaders have bad female characters. There's one character in particular that I'm really anxious to talk about, but I'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Before we get to number 1, I do want to do an honorable mention.
Nigga, what?
I was about to say Masquerade was the first villain of the entire
an honorable man. Who the fuck is? Oh, Shun.
Series, and I gotta say, they really knocked it out of the park with this guy. He was intimidating when he needed scary, but he had a sarcastic sense of humor, so he wasn't boring the entire time. He felt like a force of nature, but he wasn't ridiculously overpowered. It is possible to beat him, and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's possible, but shit, nigga.
Who's your favorite villain? You have to admit, Masquerade...
Bro, I'm gonna make a video on who is a better villain, Spectra or Masquerade, okay? I already did like a versus between them in a battle, but who is the better villain, you know what I'm saying? And I already know the answer, but I'm not gonna say shit, so y'all can watch that video when it comes out.
They laid the groundwork for all of them. Without Masquerade, there was no Spectra Phantom.
Facts.
There's no Wise Man.
Okay, fuck Wise Man. Let's not even begin to discuss Wise Man, nigga. Wise Man could eat a dick.
Wolf Dan is absolutely amazing with him finally having fun.
Fake ass.
Instead of just thinking about the win the entire time. I also love that his last battle in the entire franchise is him teaming up with his old enemy. And the icing on the cake of that entire thing.
That shit was sad when he was fading away.
Considering we got to see how he really thinks about her when he went to the Doom Dimension for his test. Masquerade is a fantastic character. Yes, it would have been great to see him more, but I'm glad he's...
The only bad thing about Masquerade is his lack of motive, and during the final fight with Dan, like they just like took away all of his composure for some reason.
Stayed in his lane. At number 1, we have my boy Shun. If you watch the show, then you have to know he's just the
you know what I'm saying? Shun is my number 1 for Battle Brawlers 2. You know what I'm saying? That's my number 1 pick too.
Trying to
you feel
open
me?
up to people again after his
Shun is a valid
away.
nigga.
It was
Shun
really
is a
great
valid
to watch
nigga.
because similar to Alice, he had to learn that he doesn't have to go through all this alone. And sometimes, even if it's the smallest thing, you can tell he's opening up to the team a lot more as the show goes on. And also the fact that his partner Skyrus was essentially a...
I'm gonna do my own
gift
top
from
10
his
characters
mother, depending on
for
version
the whole
that you're
series.
Watching the dub or the sub. It also made their partnership a lot more personal than pretty much any other in the entire series. And with that, we are finally done with this list. Thank you all for your patience. My job has been...
Yes, sir. Alright, hopefully you guys enjoyed that piece. I'm going to watch one more real quick, and that's going to be on another video coming up on Wave Clan. But if you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe to the Wave Clan channel, and check out all my shit in the description, or check out the description so you can check out all my shit. Alright, love you guys, and I'll see you wherever I see you.